What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Triangle. This is your boy D.
And it's your girl CJ.
And it's Satan's Elixir 69.
Stop.
69.
Brandi. That's 69
Not 10 seconds in. Disclaimer, not our song, not our lyrics, not anything.
I don't care what nobody say. First of all, that song fucking slaps.
I mean, that's great, but YouTube got these new checks in that take forever. It takes me 3 hours to upload a video right now. Like, I got the other side fixed now. That's what YouTube is fucking around on, is they have an extra thing of checking all of the videos frame by frame to see if we're saying anything crazy or have music in it that we're not supposed to.
No.
Oh, girl. So like,
now we got the Lil Nas X coming.
Oh my God, I'm done. I'm done.
So we were not talking about Satan's Elixir shit.
No, making fun of old emails with that.
Making fun of crazy people in their old emails. But we are going to talk about the devil today.
Oh my God. But more specifically, because we're probably going to have to talk about the devil several times on this fucking podcast. But today, specifically, like possession by the devil. Like, the devil made me do it.
Sorry, by the who?
By the devil.
By the devil.
By the devil.
You gotta say it with a B. The devil.
You gotta say it like a Republican.
You leave my Asian accent alone here, please. Thank you.
You live in America and long enough.
Speak English when you're here in America.
You married a white? You gonna talk the language?
Married a white? I'm so done with y'all. I can't stand none of y'all. None of y'all.
They probably think you're your daughter's babysitter.
No, for real. Like, it's
help.
The help. Oh my God, are you mad? Rob didn't tell me he had a maid.
Oh my God, I can't stand any of you guys.
They would punch a bitch for that.
No, people were confused at first, I think, like, till they got used to seeing me in the neighborhood or something, you know.
But oh my God, the maid really is there 24/7.
All the time. I'm a living maid. I'm a living.
Such a good maid.
Oh
she is
God.
such a good maid.
It's so hard to find good service. Like, did you know she was at their wedding? Such a great maid.
Not at the wedding.
Such a great maid.
She stood in, wore the dress and everything. Just...
What a great maid.
God. Anywho, so we're talking about people supposedly, allegedly, possibly possessed by the devil or other entities, demons, and things like that, and doing things out of the ordinary, well, malicious things like killing people or whatever have you. But I wanted to start off with the story that Demetrius had that happened recently in Vegas. How recent is it? Like,
so after looking at everything, it seemed like it was more recent, but this took place in May.
That's still recent. That's pretty recent for a story like that. So what exactly happened? Because I know you were saying that it involved like what is a swirl love couple. So it was a black guy who was the stepfather.
He was a stepfather, yeah. His name was Terrell Rhodes.
You said it like really mean. Why you gotta say it like that?
No, because I can't believe this shit fucking happened and it hit so close to home.
Oh, so did you know him? Like,
loosely,
gotcha. Like,
I'm closer to his sister. Like, I know his sister. Yeah,
that's still pretty close. Like, that's immediate family. And then is that his girlfriend or wife?
That's his girlfriend, as far as I know.
The girlfriend's son.
The girlfriend's son. They're from another dad.
Huh.
Yeah, so that was essentially his stepkid.
Okay, so what happened exactly?
So what happened was she had ended up going out of town to Colorado, and left her son here with that guy, with Terrell, right?
Right.
So he's babysitting for his girlfriend. The baby's name is Amari. His name is Amari Nicholson. So I'm not sure exactly what day the mom ended up going out of town or leaving, but I know that missing child's report was issued on May 5th. So it was like this whole big ass wild goose chase, this whole rigmarole of bullshit where they were saying that the son's auntie essentially just showed up unannounced and took the baby.
Damn.
Yeah, that was the story. So this is what he told the mother. I'm telling the mother that. So from what the news interview that we're gonna put the link in the bio for y'all to watch, and it's a whole crock of bullshit if you ask me, on both parts, because I don't know how I feel about the mama, and I think she might be trying to cover up for this nigga. But according to him, they woke up in the morning. He said he cooked the kids some breakfast around 6, and then that this woman shows up unannounced, claims to be the aunt, and is like, "I'm here to pick him up." So he was like, "Okay, let me make a phone call. Let me call the mom." And at the same time, he's packing a bag for the baby though, before he confirmed anything, because the mom said she didn't answer the phone. He even said that she didn't pick up the phone, but he's steady packing a bag. So he said in the midst of him packing this fucking bag, she says, "Oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to pack anything. We have everything he needs," and just took the baby and left before he could even do anything.
So
sounds hella fucking suspicious to me.
So what happened to the baby?
So what ended up happening to the baby is, so the missing child's report came out on May 5th. People tore the town up looking for this fucking baby.
Of course.
Because like if people ended up actually getting a hold of that aunt, she did exist.
Oh, okay.
They gave her name and everything. She was like, "I ain't seen my nephew. I don't know what you're talking about."
So it wasn't her that showed up to the house?
No. Not at all.
Or is he just claiming that somebody showed up?
He's claiming that she showed up to the house. She never showed up to the house. What ended up happening is, at the end, they find out that little Amari had wet himself. He's 2. That's what 2-year-olds do sometimes. Well, all the time.
I mean, some older kids do that too. Shit.
Right.
Exactly.
But
older than 2.
It's related to trauma.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he ended up closed fist punching this 2-year-old. They said 4 to 5 times.
Are you fucking kidding me?
If I'm lying, I'm flying. 4 to 5 times. Punched him like an adult. I'm not sure where on the body that he punched him, but according to the reports and the things that I read, they said that he freaked out when the kids started turning purple and blue in the face.
Well, yeah, he probably broke organs and shit, bones and shit.
Yeah. So then he ended up hiding. So from where they're, it's not exactly an apartment. It's almost like a weekly hotel / apartment. Like you could stay there for a week, or you could stay there for months if you need to. One of those type of facilities. That's where they were living. And there's a McDonald's right next door. It's really close to where my office used to be when I worked for satellite offices for the company that I work for now. Like right across the street, there's a McDonald's like next door. That's where he hid the body.
Yeah. Oh fuck! Like in the dumpster or something?
I'm not sure if it was a dumpster or if it was out or whatever, but I know when they went in there, the police ended up going into the apartment unit. They found blood on the wall, and they found the soiled clothes of the kid.
Oh my god! So
that's how they were like, this doesn't add up to what you're talking about, because they did a whole like press conference type of deal, which is the link that I sent for the buyer.
Yeah. And so if they found the blood on the wall, did the girlfriend come back to find this shit? Because I watched part of the video just now, and she doesn't look like she was like I said earlier, everybody grieves differently, but she didn't look as disturbed as I thought a mother would look.
Exactly.
With the lost child.
That's always hard to tell, because like you said, everybody grieves in a
different way. It's a
and
different
some people are like shamed, but there's just sometimes where where there's this vacancy where it's just like
it just didn't feel right.
Y'all did some shit. Like I've always felt that way about the John Benet Ramsey thing and those
for sure. Or for sure. Like
people just I don't even know what to call it. You just feel like you know more than what you're letting on.
Because the story that they put together where the aunt of the girl came to get her, or the baby, was it a baby girl, baby boy?
It was a baby boy. His name was Amari.
So the aunt, the fact that they knew her name, named her, and the aunt's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Because they try to blame her for it, makes me think that the girlfriend was in on it, and she was conveniently in Colorado.
Yeah, well, they said she went to Colorado to go take care of her mother for whatever. I'm not sure exactly what the issue was with her mother, but it's the way that she explained everything when she was talking about it, because all of a sudden it turned into an issue with the baby daddy. Like, oh, they have a stable household. He has 4 other children. The only missing piece was Amari. He wanted Amari, and they try to pinpoint it like he just wanted to kidnap Amari.
Right.
Trying to like put the blame on him. So okay, if they ever find this kid dead, they can blame the dad and not them. But the body was so close to where the hell they lived, it wouldn't have made sense for that anyway.
Did they figure out if she was actually in Colorado for that amount of time?
I'm not sure if they ever
Because that
confirmed
would be
it.
my
As
first
far
thing.
as I know, they said she was out of town. So
okay, gotcha.
And it was in his care, which is crazy because if somebody left a child in my care and somebody shows up saying I'm here to pick them up, hell no.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to begin to pack a bag if I didn't hear anything from the mom.
So do you think that in that moment, or if he was already an evil person, do you think it was already happening? Is that what you're saying? Because
yeah, I think for you to be capable of closed fist punching a 2-year-old, this is crazy. Something.
I don't understand that level of abuse. Like that Netflix special that came out with that young boy that was abused over and over, and even the system failed him. But I'm like, before the system failed him, I'm just like, how can you do this to a child?
Right.
Other than thinking,
not right.
This is like our whole topic, other than thinking there is some type of evilness in you. And it's not to say we're not people who also believe in science and something neurologically wrong with people, but we're talking specifically now about just there's some demonic presence, some dark force within some people where they do things, and where some killers will flat out say, the devil told me to, these voices told me to.
Yeah, for sure. Like
and they're a completely different person after the act. I've listened to some of those serial killer recordings. And it's really wild what they do in that moment. Whether they're gouging people's eyes out and fucking the sockets, or tearing people's nipples off, or bite marks in dead bodies, and then coming back to the same site. Like there's some stuff where I'm just like, I don't think this has anything to do with mental stuff. I think this more so has to do with a spiritual aspect, because those type of patterns to me would make more sense if there was something in you that follows that type of
pattern. More ritualistic, especially if they come back.
I got a story for you today. I actually got it from our guest last week, Brittany. She was telling me about it, but I don't know. So I'm definitely going to put a trigger warning on this. So if you made it this far and you didn't read the caption to this YouTube video or the podcast description, I'm telling you right now, this is your warning. If you can't handle really intense shit, stop listening, because it has to do with children and demonic rituals, in my opinion. You might not see it that way, but I do. I actually was going to dive into it a little more, and maybe we talk about it when we talk about child trafficking later on, and like the realities of that. But this story had me like, my stomach got fucked up, and she didn't even give me the whole detail of everything, right? So, when children get trafficked, they get, raped and all of this other crazy stuff. Again, trigger warning for all the things right now: children, rape, abuse, all of that. So if you can't handle it, don't listen or watch. Are you guys okay with this if I go forward with this story? Let me ask my team too. Okay, I said that to Brittany last week, and then she told me, and I had to stop in the parking lot in Walmart before I walked in and catch my breath, is what happened. Because I'm usually pretty good with anything that can turn people's stomachs. I can dissect shit on the spot. Like, it's not a problem. But when it comes to children and things like that, it really does make my stomach turn. I couldn't handle it. But so I don't know if you guys are aware, but people like Ashton Kutcher, Blake Lively, those guys, some celebrities who have been in the Hollywood sector and industry since childhood have tended to lean into trying to help people who are in trafficking, right? So Ashton Kutcher has a whole organization. That guy was pretty much abused by Demi Moore. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures.
That's a whole other conversation.
Right. So we're going to get into that on another episode. But this story has specifically to do with Blake Lively. She has also been an advocate and somebody who has been fighting trafficking, like human trafficking here. And I didn't even know about it. Like she had to tell me about it. So I'm going to dive into it more. But anyway, this story has to do with, you know how women get trafficked, and there are groups of people who impregnate those women on purpose. They bear a child, and this is the crazy part. When the child is born, they're not born in hospitals. They're born in those homes or facilities or wherever they keep the trafficked women, right? There are people who pay money to go and rip that child out of that woman's womb and have sex with it immediately. Right. I told you. I told you. I told you. If you're listening and you didn't want to hear that, I've warned you. I'm talking about it. It makes me want to tear up. My hair just stands straight up. And I can't like, there's no way to put myself in that scene mentally at all. There's no space. There's no space. Not even to like try to see if they're like psychosis, or to me that is a complete possession of some other kind.
That's some other shit.
It has to be.
There's not going to be there's no, hey, we need to get this person mental.
There's no mental passes for this.
There's no.
So for me, when you do something like that, like I don't even want to repeat what I just said, but for somebody to be able to I'm talking like right out of the womb. They're not doing anything else to it. It is the craziest shit. And, and I was telling her when we were talking about this, just whenever people tell you things like the government and these people who are trafficking do things that are worse than you can ever imagine, that was one of the stories. I was like, this is exactly what they mean. Like, I couldn't even fathom, like, I had an idea.
What?
Well, that's the thing.
What?
Because they get off on it, and for them to get off on that, you have to be possessed, in my opinion. You have to be the deepest, darkest of evils to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be the darkest corner of the blackest evil there is to do something like that. I can't even. And then so apparently Blake Lively goes, like, they won't show her pictures because she goes to work with the police and stuff in different areas, apparently. So they'll give her to, a certain point, the information, just no pictures, because they're like, apparently even the cops who work on trafficking cases, they're only allowed to work in shifts because it's so bad. So they're not allowed to have, like, because most cops, they might have 12-hour shifts, sometimes 24 hours if you're doing a stakeout. These guys are not allowed to do it because it'll fuck with their mental health if it hasn't already. So they're only allowed to work their shift, go home, take a break, and come back. So there's even more rotation happening for people involved in that sector of the police department. Like, if that's not possession by evil entities, I don't know what that is. I cannot imagine.
There's no other explanation.
Right?
There's no other explanation.
And so that kind of leads to my.
And there's also I had notes on it earlier, so I wanted to go to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a demon that dates all the way back, as most do, right?
Of course, so they're eternal.
Called the Gello.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a female demon that can cause infertility, cannot talk, but they're basically saying that anybody that's a woman that's possessed by this will do things like that to a child, or on the rare occasion where a man's possessed by this demon. I don't be saying certain demons' names more than once, so that's why I said it like that.
Yeah, no, you already know, because I don't say stuff either.
I don't. I'm like, when it gets to almost that 3 times that Beetlejuice. I don't play that shit.
Because words have power, and you don't need to be calling nobody over here.
Even numerology or not, 3 is a very powerful number.
Yes.
I was on the 3rd day, Jesus rose on the 3rd day. It's a lot. It's a lot tied to that number. But I enjoyed earlier doing the research on what demons were connected to.
Oh yes.
Because you can tie like evil entities to all type of shit. And going back to what Demetrius was saying earlier, with just these patterns that serial killers go on, there you can try to explain that away in our world all day long, in the sense of what makes sense and what can help you sleep at night. Because that's why they do all this research, you know, because the stuff that we know we believe in, especially when our minds were first cracked open, it took me a while to sleep and get back to normal, because I was looking at everything completely different.
Yeah, because you get confused. You're like, really? This is really happening
it's
right
really
now?
like out of the fucking Matrix, and you're like, dog, what? What? Nothing. He's laughing, but it's for real.
Because I'm laughing because I know it's. I know
It's nothing to say. Me and my sister, we like. I remember this time I was living with her, and we were digging and doing too much research on stuff. And her husband was a pastor, well, active pastor at the time. He was like, "I need to stop looking at this stuff because y'all don't freak yourselves out." We were like, "We good." We end up sleeping together in my nephew's room because
Well,
we're all
yeah.
the bitches was scared.
Because here's the thing, most normal humans have a reaction to things like this, just like we did after I told that story. Both of y'all like stopped breathing for a second. I could tell, like, you covered your mouth and Dee just like looked off into space like, hell no. Like I'm just saying, like, normal people have those reactions. Me just telling it made my tummy turn all over again, and I've already heard the story once, you know what I'm saying?
To know that people like record that shit and it's like black mark.
That was my next thing. When we come back from our break, we'll be right back.
And we're back.
Yeah, so loud. So what I was saying is that that conversation I was having with Britt kind of led into what you were trying to get to, people recording it and going to the black, what is it? The dark net. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, dark web.
The dark web. Thank you. It's apparently a crazy situation in there because there's even more people who are like that, who are actively searching for videos and opportunities to do things like that. And this is like your run-of-the-mill people signed up on the dark web to do this shit. Like, it could be your next door neighbor, like the teacher at school. Like, that's the other thing I was trying to tell Rob. It's like, you just never know who the fuck is who. You don't know who's who.
You don't know.
I wanted to look up, you know, I can't even bring myself to do it, but I wanted to look up on the internet, like, who are registered predators around you or whatever.
Ew, don't do it. I did it once.
Bring myself to do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
Like, what is it? And apparently, if you put certain words together on the internet to look for stuff, it pings you on the CIA and FBI website as well. So that's supposed to be a thing, but I guess on the dark web it's encrypted or something.
Oh yeah, they don't see shit.
So they can't really find anything unless they actually have hackers going into it to find stuff. And that's why shit like that is still occurring. Have you guys ever been curious to want to go look at the dark web? Like,
I am, but I'm afraid.
Well, so here's my thing.
When I wanted to look on it, it was just for the sense of, oh wow, like people really be waking up in ice baths in Vegas with their kidneys gone. Kind of like
shit like that.
Yeah, so mine was like the so for me it was looking at, because I watched YouTubes of people who would order like spirit boxes off
those
the
boxes,
dark, like those possessed boxes. So I've always been curious about that. But then I realized the dark web also involves shit like children being trafficked. And so I don't know if I can go there in my mental state.
A whole last popular movie out of it, which like Taken never was enjoyable to me from a action film point of view, because I was like, oh, his daughter was drugged at a party, which can easily happen to anybody. But drugged and taken and sold on the black market to these rich European niggas, like in like a night. Your whole life. I'm like, this is an action film. This is a horror movie. Like, nothing about this. Liam Neeson is not coming to save a lot of these bitches. Like, nothing exciting about this. Y'all are telling on yourselves because y'all know this shit is going on.
So did I ever tell y'all about my one of my close friends from Hawaii
What
and what
happened?
happened with her cousin.
What?
So he was on a boat
Mhm.
offshore of Hawaii, and he was there. Everybody knew he was on this boat. Pieces of this boat came back and washed up ashore.
Oh.
And he was out there with his friends, and none of them came back. So everybody was under the assumption that the boat sank and they all drowned.
Right.
Fast forward like 12 years later,
Mhm.
the sister
Mhm.
of this same, of one of the guys on the boat,
Mhm.
goes on a trip to
Yeah.
Mexico City
Yeah.
on vacation. She says she's downtown. She's in some, like, I don't want to say like a bazaar, but it's like a
Yeah.
market area. And she's walking and she looks and she was like, hell no.
Was it?
That's my fucking brother.
Oh my
She
God.
said, that's my brother. She was like, there's no way that's not him.
Well, yeah.
So she was like, she saw him and she called him by a name that only the family would call him. So he was like kind of far away. And she was like, she was like,
Check.
it could be just a doppelganger type of deal.
It could happen, yeah.
It's been 12 years. She said, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
So say, just for the sake of argument, his nickname is Junebug. You know, family knew him as Junebug.
Not Junebug.
So she was down there. She said, Junebug. And she said he was like shopping. He stopped, looked, saw her, turned around and started running.
What?
Running.
Maybe he didn't want her to get involved.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if, I don't want my...
Save the people.
Right.
That they care about.
I would have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did he get trafficked? And that's how he ended up like off the shore of Maui all the way to fucking Mexico City.
Holy
Get the fuck
shit.
out of here.
From Hawaii?
From Hawaii.
Holy shit.
They were on a boat. They just were, you know, they were from there. So they were just out fishing and shit. And then pieces of the boat washed up and they presumed everyone dead.
Yeah, of course, when that happens. So like, was there a lot of people on the boat?
It was like five friends.
Oh, okay, it was a small one. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I know we talked about this on and off again, but I feel like it's not just demonic possessions and like evil possessions. I feel like there are evil influences and like good influences that happen spiritually, like what Brandi always talks about, around you. And if you're allowing certain things in your life, like for example, I really think about like people who are alcoholics, like hardcore alcoholics, when they do crazy shit. Like there's a reason they call it spirit, right? Alcohol was a old name for the word spirit. And that's what they call alcohol now, is spirits, and they call it alcohol, but it comes from the word alcohol. Literally, yeah.
And that's where the word ghoul comes from.
Yes, it comes from, it's ghoul. It comes from the meaning spirit, and we still use those terms to name those liquids.
They should have kept it with ghouls. I would have enjoyed that.
She's like, I would have had more of that.
Drink some ghoul.
That ghoul.
No, man. But you know, like, it's for me, when that happens, I feel like you allow yourself to be more vulnerable to entities that's outside of your body.
Absolutely.
Same thing with drugs and stuff, because people talk about how drug addicts always have certain like ways of carrying themselves. And yes, of course, those drugs cause psychosis as well, but there's like this other part that drugs do.
I really feel like it does this kind of, you know how we talk about All Saints Day and how the veil is thin that day. I feel like these altering drugs are going past
DMT for one is
it does the same thing with your spirit. That's a thin veil. So you watch a lot of these films, don't play with me. Sorry, the way my computer just glitched. I'm like, don't start.
the usual on the triangle when you start talking about shit.
Yeah, you start talking about real shit, and I'm like, here we fucking go. I ain't had no disturbance in the force in a minute. Leave me alone. But when you're watching shows like that, or if you have been, I say blessed enough to have been around some stuff like that or heard a story. The reason I say blessed enough is because your mind is open. And there is no saying you didn't see what you saw, or someone you know and trust is sane telling you, I was so high this time that I knew something was going on with me. Some entity was chasing me, and one of their family members was like, hey, you opened up a portal and I need you to leave out of my house. Because I told you to stop doing A, B, and C and you didn't stop. and this is what's happening, and this is going to keep happening because it's latched itself onto you. And you just have to be so careful with that stuff, because we're not telling you not to sex, drugs, and rock and roll it up to a limit.
I mean, you can, but you just have to be aware. I remember
We're not thinking about that kind of stuff.
Have you guys ever been too high for your own good?
Yes. Oh my God, I almost called an ambulance on myself.
Okay, but there
Not
was
the
one.
ambulance.
But here's the
ambulance.
thing. I've been too high a couple of times, maybe a handful of times, but there was one particular time that I kept thinking that I saw a figure in the corner in different places, like shaking its head really fast, like you see in movies.
Hell no.
I have seen that. No,
Nope.
no, she's
seen
being
that?
real.
I gave goosebumps. I wish I could show
And
you.
like, I'm not gonna be able to do it as fast, but it really is like a
yes, that's what it looks like.
fast, but it's like it's very
yes, it's very disturbing. I mean, like you can only do it with your hands, like yeah.
Or sometimes, like, have you ever seen? And I've heard about this too, when somebody is not fully possessed in the sense of they can't come back, but possessed enough where there's something else in them, possibly even from another time frame. So maybe something demonic from like 1678 or something, but here now. So the mannerisms of that person.
Yo, check this out. It was one day I came home from work. This is back when I lived in that Party Rager house when I was like in my early 20s.
Oh my God, the Party Rager house.
Party Rager house. You remember that house, right?
Yes.
Summerlin. So came home from work one day. Everybody had dropped acid. And then it was this dude that just, his name was Adam. Hey Adam, if you're watching. Adam shows up. Adam got kicked out like the inner circle because he just showed up. He was drunk. But everybody that was in the house that was on acid was scared as fuck. They were like, you got to go, bruh. You got to go. Yeah, they were terrified of him. It's so much so to where when they got sober, they were like, fuck you. No, hell no, something's wrong with you. And then when I got home from work, everybody's high on acid. I come in the house and then my roommate's girlfriend was like, oh my gosh, Demetrius, it was just so awful. It was so awful. Like she was talking like she was from the 40s with a transatlantic accent. I was like,
oh no, here we go again. No.
I was like, what the fuck? Crazy. I was like, and she carried that on the whole night till she got sober.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you do open up. So when I do readings, it's easier for me to do readings when I'm got a couple shots.
When you're possessed.
Not possessed. Got a couple shots.
Sorry, false alarm.
When the veil is a little bit thinner. When the veil is a little bit thinner.
Like when I allow the entity to take my body.
I mean, because they even tell you, like, if you're into meditating and stuff, they tell you to do it between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. because it's the thinnest.
Didn't we talk about even some guided meditation we're not into? Because
I don't do random. I don't know if you guys know this. You should not be doing random meditations from YouTube and shit like that, because you don't know what's in it. You cannot, unless you have a machine to measure the hertz coming off of YouTube.
Come on, CJ.
You don't know what's in it. And I don't know if you know this, but people can put subliminal messages in it so low that you can't hear it with a human fucking ear.
And over the years, people have been like they've heard it since the 70s, 60s almost, like when they're playing songs backwards.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's not so much that game, and it's more so, like you said, in the hertz, in the chords.
Yep.
Which I had never heard about demonic chords until my sister put me on. Yes. And then when she put me on, she's like, when you hear that shit, you're never not gonna like recognize it. So then after she told me that, I was just like, nah, you ain't finna ruin music for me or whatever.
Music ruined.
But I remember
in the nightclub.
Here, like, I was like, is it me? Or, and you listeners, like, think about it. Maybe go to some like top 20 hip hop songs or whatever. But I was like, I have always felt like for years, a lot of the hip hop music sounds like this trap carnival circus shit. Like the chords are weird. And I'm like, why is this a part of the tuning
on the recent music is weird to me.
Very weird.
I can't listen to it. My body rejects it. And I'm not
Even
saying
when
that because I'm older than y'all, by the way.
Yes, the old
no,
body.
it's odd. And
It's a
it's the repetition. It's almost like chanting.
it's very uncomfortable to me when I
Yeah.
listen to it. So I can't like early 2000s is the latest, like the earliest I can go. This new stuff is like really weird. And another thing is I noticed that the same chords in popular Japanese music, because I listen to J-pop, and then a lot of K-pop uses American hip hop chords in their songs because my daughter listens to it. So to me, Brandy's right on the money, because that means they're taking the same chords no matter what country you're from and using them to make the top 20, top 40 music and putting it out there.
But no, just like I remember working in a nightclub, and I remember how they can control the crowd based on the
absolutely.
music
Yeah.
that's playing.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say control, like if you want a fight to break out, you just put on a certain song.
No,
Somebody's gonna
that's
fight.
true. Decades ago, and I know this is probably like it's not new news, but the way that, and we talk about this in other episodes too, the music and the media are the two biggest like tools to control everybody. Hitler even like basically wrote the handbook on it and was like,
Mhm.
give me the entertainment and I got this whole population.
Yep.
And those propaganda pamphlets and just some of the stuff, because I'm kind of obsessed with looking at all these documentaries they have out now on these dictators, and I've been like
Oh my
obsessed
God.
with
I want to
everything.
study the Hitler one
Okay,
now.
Pinky and the
Oh, it's
Brain.
so good. I've been
Brandy's trying to take over the world.
I'm not.
She's just like,
No. I've been studying. It's so scary because like one of the historians was saying, you'd like to think, oh no, not the way I'm set up in my mindset and everything else, but you got to realize, you got to think about the mindset that people were in, and just it happened again, even with Trump in office and them storming the Capitol. It easily
it was
can
so
happen
easy to control
when
them.
you rile people up
So
with the
easy.
media or music or the music he plays before his rallies, all that shit.
Do you guys remember the fucking 3 girls or 4 girls he had singing them songs
The
at
little
the
girls?
at the Trump rally? And all I could think of is Kim Jong-il from Korea, like
Wow,
North Korea, where they
there's
do the
that.
same thing when they have I was like, if you were
It's very
Asian and you
similar.
saw that, you already knew. If you've studied something about North Korea, then you already know. But most Asian people saw that and was like, fuck this shit. Like, absolutely not, because we grew up seeing that on the news all the time from North Korea. That's like exactly what
And
he would do.
it's almost like they're living in a different planet when you see how some people's structures are, and it's like this is what you grow up in, this is what's okay.
Mhm.
You got to do all this stuff just to have internet or this or that, and just that controlling, that level of control is very scary. But I think it's important to study those things if you're interested in it,
Mhm.
and read up on it just to keep your
Absolutely.
mind sharp, because at any moment there could be a turn. And when you're outnumbered, you're outnumbered.
Mhm.
So if the majority of America is fine with whatever leaders up there saying, hey, this is how we running stuff now, that's just what it is, because they controlled the media and how the music is. So then the music starts, the music, I think at one point in time when it's pure, it's supposed to reflect really how people feel and how they're living. If you
Absolutely.
notice, that type of music is never really the
Well, so
pinnacle.
there's a lot of
Never.
like
It's never been.
underground musicians that I love because they don't get the clout that they should, in my opinion, that make real music still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From scratch, it's their shit. And I feel like with the music control comes with like all the other social media now, because listen, we were thinking like TV was a bad thing, but everybody's on their phone now, so that's another form of control. Now we got
I'm like,
streaming
this is the TV
services.
now. Like,
Huh?
your phone is the TV now.
Oh yeah, your phone is definitely. I was telling Rob yesterday, I was like, I'm so tired of these fucking commercials, because now instead of it being on TV, it's on any video you're watching on
Yep.
your
Any
phone.
video, anywhere.
Any of them.
Before I know our timer goes off, I did want to read about the guy who was like the first one
Yes.
to basically be like a devil made me do it case.
Yes, let's go.
His name was Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, which you name your kid that, he's a destined killer.
Oh my god.
And apparently,
Arnie?
Arnie.
Oh
Of
my.
Arnie Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Yeah, you done fucked up there.
Yeah, you're asking for it
Arnie
at that point.
Cheyenne. You don't have no choice. You're a porn star. You're a killer. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Arnie
so sloppy,
Cheyenne Johnson
yeah.
either got really good porn out or he crazy.
Pretty much. They were just like, what
Or
happened to
both.
the last guy? I don't know where he's at. Call Arnie Cheyenne. Get him in there.
No, anyway.
Anyway,
Dude.
on February 16th,
Arnie Cheyenne.
Johnson called in. Sorry, I heard DC. That's hilarious.
I can't stand y'all.
That's the song.
Oh my god.
See?
That shit. I'm so done with
People
y'all.
love that song.
They do.
Anyway, so long story short, he ends up killing his landlord.
Oh.
And it wasn't even like a crazy.
He raised the rent.
Right, that's what I was thinking. What happened? Like, huh? So, trying to read through this really quick. There was a party.
Mhm.
They were all supposed to go. His girl Debbie took their girls to get a pizza and return quickly because they felt like, all right, something might be off with him because I guess he was having like some outbursts. But I think what bothers me more about white men having outbursts, nobody takes them as seriously as they should because their outbursts always end up being something crazy that
It always
regular
is.
people
Yeah.
almost all the time. So anyway, when they came back, he was intoxicated. And they said everyone left the room to Debbie's urging except Bono, who sees Mary, who was another girl there, and Bono's the guy who ends up dead, and refused to let go. Johnson, crazy guy, headed back to the apartment and ordered Bono to release Mary. And then another.
He did what?
He went back after he left because originally his girl took the kids and everyone else because she felt like something was about to go down.
Right.
And sometimes I think we know, even if no one has, you ever just get that feeling where you get
I told you about my party that I left. Everybody got stabbed.
Like,
yeah.
I need to leave. So I guess that's how it started off with her. But anyway, long story short, he starts growling like an animal and then takes out about like a 6-inch knife and starts stabbing the landlord repeatedly.
See?
Just stabbing him.
See?
And that there were 4 or 5 tremendous wounds, mostly to his chest, and one that stretched from his stomach to the base of his heart.
Oh, he done cut him up just.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Even something like
a fucking trout. That's some bullshit.
Think about defending yourself, and then think about how somebody can sadistically do something like stab somebody 83 times.
That's
crazy. Think about just the times I've had to fight maybe a man off of me or other situations I've been in, and how much energy that takes and how tired I am in a short amount of time.
Right.
Let alone stabbing someone 83 times.
That's a lot of effort.
You get cuts on yourself, your arm, but physically, I don't care how much adrenaline is going or nothing else.
I don't think you can go that long.
Way. That's not some type of.
That's not just like a few minutes. That's a long ass time. And then you're also getting splattered by blood. It's probably in your mouth if you stabbing somebody 83 times.
Related to people that basically said, this demon made me do it, the devil made me do it. And a lot of them, it was like an aggressive, excessive killing. It wasn't just, I sprinkled a little arsenic in the egg.
Right.
And so died. These are extremely violent crimes.
Did he happen to say he didn't remember doing it?
Of course.
He did, right? I asked that only because a lot of people who say the devil made me do it or somebody else made me do it, they always say they don't remember doing it.
Didn't remember it. Oh my God. And they attempted to submit a plea of not guilty, and that's probably where they fucked up because it's like, no, you're guilty, so maybe put his ass somewhere. And the institution would have been the best you could have done, but not just fully not guilty of virtual possession. But this was still 1981, so although it's not that long ago,
right?
Court-wise, white men still get away.
They still get away with
really getting away with shit then.
Oh, for sure.
Even how they handled that Jeffrey Dahmer case, I still can't believe.
Yeah, we can't put white guys in jail. Fuck. What about their lives? What about their lives?
And you killed this many women, and he's giving you compliments. Like, I wish we could have met under better circumstances. You were a brilliant guy, and Y'all niggas frat
That's-
brothers? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Basically, they probably
And I'm
know
like,
his
you got the
parents and
victims'
shit.
families and shit crying and
They don't
hearing,
care.
and you up here, doing this. But anyway, he did get sentenced. The jury, they said, deliberated for 15 hours over 3 days, and he got first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison.
That's it.
10 to 20 years, though he only served 5.
Oh my god! And he got out. Oh my god!
That was worse than the Sinister Sunday nigga. He only did 16.
It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, so of course they wrote books, and our boys, well, not our boys, our boy and girl, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yes, Lorraine Warren, I love her.
They said that the possession story, well, this is what the media was saying, or the family, funny enough, because if you got off for this, why would your family say that it was a hoax if it's something that helped you get off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I fucked that up if I didn't want somebody to be in jail, why would I kind of go against that? But anyway, they said the possession story was a hoax concocted by Ed and Lorraine Warren to exploit the family and his brother's mental illness, because they were going that route. And that the book presented him, because they wrote a book about it, presented him as the villain because he didn't believe in the supernatural claims, because he was saying that he doesn't remember that, which of course doesn't mean you didn't do that shit, because people saw you do that shit.
People, I mean, some people can totally go into a rage of some kind and lose it and see red and not remember. That's part of a psychotic situation.
Pretty much. So they said Lorraine Warren defended her work with the family, saying that 6 priests who were involved in the incident agreed at the time that he was possessed.
Side note, Lorraine Warren is a very well-known psychic. Her and her son.
Like, if you watch any of those Conjuring movies, that's them.
That's her. And also, before she passed away, she would get on like Ghost Adventures or Chip Coffee's Paranormal Children. I think there's a Netflix movie out that's actually called The Devil Made Me Do It. And I think it's about one of the stories with her in it. So I'm getting ready to watch it this week.
And then what was also crazy with the family having all this backlash afterwards, was that another person that wrote The Devil in Connecticut, which was based off him,
oh god,
said that the family wanted the story told, and that he possesses video of over 100 hours of the interviews with the family that signed off on the book. And then they're coming back saying, hey, no such thing as a possession, this, that, and the other. And I just find that interesting.
I wonder if they were paid by somebody else outside of this to make that go away. Like, because paranormal community always gets shut down fairly fast because it's a very hard thing to prove.
Carry over for a long time.
Yeah, it's just very hard to prove existence that you can't. That's something that's not tangible, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about it, we know, and we believe because it's happened to us. But
I think it's something that's not tangible, and at the same time, something that's so powerful that people on top don't want anybody to know.
So that's what I'm saying. So somebody has said,
know it, then you can know how to combat it too.
Well, so did you guys read that article? Somebody had said they canceled Lovecraft Country because they were telling Black folks to go back to their roots and find spirituality.
First of all, that show is phenomenal. I've watched it twice.
And they canceled season 2. Like,
it was so good. I'm hoping it gets picked up, because after 18 Emmys of a canceled show for one season, I'm like, pick this up. But if y'all seen the map that Misha Green, the creator, has come up with, I'm like, they're probably definitely not going to have that set that. Well, spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it, but at the end of the season, white people can't use any type of magic with a C.
That's what I'm saying. People were talking about how it might be us, and that's why.
Maybe they weren't trying to have that, so then they redid the map of the United States, and it's
there's like a white person, like
white lands, and then the majority of the West Coast is all the natives.
Yep.
The OGs.
Yeah.
And then all of the Southern is the New Negro Republic or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And then further up
Yeah,
But
they
yeah, it
gave like
wasn't
land
a-
back to the natives and all kinds of shit.
They probably wasn't on that, but it's a wonderful show. Recommend it.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. That's pretty much time. But man, here's the thing: like talking about all these paranormal parapsychology and stuff like that, we can just go on forever. Clearly, so if there's stuff that you want us to revisit or go dive deeper into, please let us know via DM, email, all of that. Our email is thetriangle@gmail.com. That's th3 triangle without the e at gmail.com. You can find us also on Instagram, Facebook as well. So if you've enjoyed our podcast thus far, make sure that you are subscribed to your favorite podcast platform. We drop our episodes every Thursday, and every Friday is Sex Angle. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I don't know what D was just doing right there.
What is that? Is he good? Is he possessed?
He just do weird
That's like
shit.
a sassy
Oh
demon.
my gosh. And make sure to hit that like button, you guys, because that will make all the other videos populate for you that you've missed out. Because now we're going to have like 140 videos or something up on YouTube now. Because we've hit our 2-year mark, you guys. That's fucking crazy. 2 years strong. So, I know it is. Hopefully.
How has D lasted this long with us?
How has D lasted this long? How have anybody lasted this long? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? That's what white folks say. Who would have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk?
Anyway, stay woke, stay blessed, stay logical and safe. If you're black, stay black. If you're not, POCs and allies unite. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.